everyone, this is Sri Varalakshmi Maturi. Welcome back to my channel. Today you are going to learn about what are the fundamentals and the important formulae and the concepts which are relevant to the progressions as well as sequence and series. What are the three types of progressions and important formulae relevant to the progressions as well as some of the problems which are in the mentioned in the mains as well as in various MSETs of AP as well as the TS. Now, first of all, we all know about what is a pattern. For example, I have taken letter A, comma C, comma E. I hope you can guess it. What is the next letter you may get? Obviously, here you will get F. No, it's a G you will get. Later what will you get? You will get I. Simply, what is the thing behind it? You know that reason is, I have skipped the one letter. Nothing but alternative English alphabets I am writing. If I have written A, E, I, can you guess what is the next one? Obviously you can guess it is O or later U, because I am writing the vowels of English alphabet. That means any common rule is there. Obviously we can find out the next one. Reason? And if you have observed that, for example, I have taken 2, 5 and maybe it is 9. Can you guess what is the next one? Yes, obviously you have taken here adding 3, here adding 4 and here it is. Definitely we add 5 because of I have taken consecutive natural numbers. So what will you get? 14. 14 after 14 plus 6, it's a 20. In this way we can take it. This is also one kind of a pattern. Now, numbers are the set of the terms may be produced or maybe elaborated or expanded whenever a fixed number is added to the preceding term in order to get the succeeding term. We said to call that is a arithmetic progression AP. For example, 3, 5, 7, definitely none. Here I am adding fixed number to it. In that way, we call this is arithmetic progression, simply called AP. Usually terms of progressions are taken by T1, T2, T3 and so on. And the general term or nth term of the AP is called Tn. Tn can be found out by using A plus n minus 1 into D. In this video, I am explaining what are the important formulae to find out the sequence and series and to solve the PYQs of the sequence and series kind of. So, if you want a detailed explanation, you have to follow my previous videos of progressions. But here, you have to observe that what are the important formulas, what are those? Those only I am writing. Now, what is the general term of the AP is A plus n minus 1 into D. The common difference, nothing but the fixed number which we are adding, we call common difference. The first term of the given progression is called A. So, what is the first term is A, second term is A plus D. Then nth term is called A plus n minus 1 into D. In the same way, sum of these terms can be found out by using sum of n terms of AP. Formula is n into nothing but n by 2 into A plus L, where L is called the last term, and also n by 2 into 2A plus n minus 1 into D. A term is no term. That means number of terms is always be a natural number. Means 5th term, 7th term, like that will be. But no term will be like a 1.1 term or maybe maybe there is a 3.2 term or a minus 3 terms, it won't be. That means terms are always natural number. Terms, not term number. Number of terms in the given progression is always a natural number. Next, and one more thing. Usually, the fixed term which we are adding to the preceding term to get the succeeding term, that is called a common difference. Common difference can be found out by using a formula T2 minus T1, nothing but second term minus first term, or else T3 minus T2, or else and so on, D equal to Tn minus 1. In that way also we can find out. If any three terms are in the AP, namely A comma B comma C are any three terms, they are in arithmetic progression AP. Obviously, T2 means B minus A is equal to T2 minus T1 is equal to T3 minus T2. C minus B. So we can write it as 2B is equal to A plus C. What is the condition? If any three terms are in the AP, A, B, C are the three terms of AP, then obviously 2B is equal to A plus C, and here B is said to be called arithmetic mean. The arithmetic mean of any two numbers A comma B is equal to A plus B by 2. If there are n arithmetic means are placed in between any two numbers like A and B, then the common difference is equal to B minus A by n plus 1. And whenever the terms are in the AP, maybe we are discussing the thing about, or we are discussing about the terms of consecutive term. Usually the three consecutive terms have the general form of A minus D comma A plus D. Whenever especially we are talking about the sum of any three consecutive terms, we have to take the formula A minus D comma A plus D. In this video I am mentioning whatever the necessary formulas and concepts required for the sequence and series in the point of only competitive exam level. First of all, you should know about what is an AP, arithmetic progression. Arithmetic progression means some fixed number. Whenever a fixed number is adding to its preceding term in order to get its succeeding term, but no idea about how the first term is formed. We call such types of terms are in AP nothing but arithmetic progression. Terms of AP are namely T1, T2, T3 and so on. The unknown term is called Tn. And all the terms of AP are in the form of A plus D, A plus 2D and A plus n minus 1 into D. Here the common term are nothing but a fixed number which we are adding. We call it is common difference, that can be found out by a formula D equal to T2 minus T1, nothing but by using a formula Tn minus 1. Here Sn stands for sum of the n terms of AP, where sum of n terms of AP can be found out n by 2 into A plus L, where L is called the last term, or you can take it in the place of L, it is Tn, or by another formula n by 2 into 2A plus n minus 1 into D. Usually the number of terms in the progression, not only number of terms in the progression, number of terms are always be a natural number. It cannot be a 0 or it cannot be any other. So term of minus 3 will not be T minus 3, T5 will be, T7 will be, T of 1.1 won't be. And in the same way, we discuss what are the, if any three terms are in the AP, what is the condition? What is the condition? Any three terms are in AP? To be equal to A plus C. If any three terms are in AP, namely A comma B comma C, obviously the condition they satisfy is 2b equal to a plus c. If any two terms a and b are there, the number which exists in between them is called arithmetic mean or simply mean, that is a plus b by 2. And if we place n arithmetic means in between any two terms like a and b or any two numbers a and b, their common difference is d equal to b minus a by n plus 1. And whenever we wanted to find out the sum of any three consecutive terms of the AP, whenever they have given about their product, we should use the general form is a minus d, a and a plus d. This is briefly about AP. Now we are going for the GP now, the geometric progression. Usually, if any sequence of numbers may be formed by the multiplying a fixed number to its preceding number to get the succeeding number, we call that is the geometric progression, simply called GP. The terms in the GP also named as the T1, T2, T3 and nth term or general term of the GP is Tn. Usually terms of GP are AR, where R is said to be called common ratio. R can be found out by using a formula of T2 by T1 or Tn by Tn minus 1. That means the ratio between any two terms, any two consecutive terms in the GP is always be same. And coming to the nth term of the GP is a into r power n minus 1. If any three terms, namely a, b, c are in GP, b square is always is equal to ac, where b is called geometric mean, which is simply GM. Okay, and the sum of the n terms of GP, n terms of GP can be found out by a formula a into r power n minus 1 by r minus 1 whenever the common ratio is greater than the 1. Coming to n terms, sum of n terms of GP, whenever r is maybe less than the 1, at that time the sum of the terms, n terms is a into 1 minus r power n by 1 minus r. Whenever r is equal to 1, the terms will not be in the usually GP and their sum cannot be found out. That is, can be found out by using a constant thing. That means 2, 2, 2 and so on, n terms are there. That those need not to be find out their sum. You can add them normally. N times means 2n is the answer. So we are finding the sum of the n terms of the GP whenever there are n terms. When the common ratio of the terms is maybe greater than 1, its sum of n terms of GP equal to a into r power n minus 1 by r minus 1. Whenever r is less than the 1, obviously a into 1 minus r power n by 1 minus r. And coming to that, whenever there is a GP, it is not but for the n terms. It is continuous for the infinite number of terms. For example, 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8 plus and so on for n terms. Same problem, 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus and so on for infinite number of times. Now I want to find out the sum of the n terms of this GP. Whether it is in GP or not, we know that a fixed number is multiplied to its preceding term. So 1 by 2 is multiplied, common ratio r is equal to T2 by T1 or T3 by T2 or Tn by some Tn minus 1, whatever you done also you got, maybe 1 by 4 by 1 by 2. So 1 by 4 into 2 by 1. So you will get the common ratio is 1 by 2. What I am saying now, sum of n terms of AP having two formulas, not like sum of n terms of AP which is just n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d, not in that way. So what is the formula we are having? A into r power n minus 1 by r minus 1 and a into 1 minus r power n by 1 minus 1. Which formula is better to choose is this formula. Reason is r is less than the 1. So a into 1 minus 1 where clearly a value is 1 here. So 1 minus 1 by 2 whole power n minus 1 minus 1 by 2 is nothing but 1 by 2. So 2 into 1 minus 1 by 2 whole power n. In that way we can find. Coming to whenever the same thing may be done for not n times, maybe infinite number of terms, we call that is sum to infinity. Sum to infinity. Especially whenever r is less than the 1, sum to infinity is equal to a by 1 minus r. Simply here 1 minus 1 by r is a whole power infinite number of times is very smaller. So this can be gone to the nearest to 1 value will get. That's why what is the sum to infinity? S infinity formula is a by 1 minus r. Remember n terms whenever r is less than the 1 is a into 1 minus r power n by 1 minus r, and whenever it is infinite number of times and especially r is less than the 1, we call that is sum to infinity is equal to a by 1 minus r. Usually the general term or general form of the terms in the GP, whenever the three consecutive terms they given a by r, comma a, comma ar. We have completed what are the two kinds of progressions. There are arithmetic progressions and geometric progression. Now we are in the harmonic progression. Simply, if the terms are said to be in harmonic progression, nothing but HP, their reciprocals must be in the AP. Then we call that such kind of terms are in HP. So what are the general terms of the HP are 1 by a comma 1 by a plus d comma 1 by a plus 2d. If you observe that what are the multiplicative inverses of these HP terms are a comma a plus d comma a plus 2d. Now clearly these are in AP. If you want to say any terms are in HP, their reciprocals must be in the AP. Then only we can say it is HP. If A comma B comma C are any three terms in the HP, B is equal to clearly A, B, C are any three terms are in HP, then their HM, harmonic mean HM is equal to 2 by B equal to 1 by A plus 1 by C. So 2 by B is equal to A plus C by AC. So 2AC by A plus C is equal to B. In that way we can find out the harmonic mean between the A comma B comma C. By this we are going to write the relationship among the all the means. That is, if A comma B are any two terms of the any two term, their harmonic mean HM is equal to 2AB by A plus B. Let me express 2AB by A plus B is 2 by A plus B into AB. If you observe that 2 by A plus B is said to be called the reciprocal of arithmetic mean. And AB is called the square of the geometric mean. So in what way you can write? Let us think the geometric mean of the any two terms is G and arithmetic mean of two terms is A. So you can write it as G square by A, and also which is equal to harmonic mean. So what is the relationship among the all the three means? Harmonic mean equal to G square by A, where A is said to be called arithmetic mean, G is called geometric mean, where H is called the harmonic mean. So these are the concepts which are we required to understand this concept in a better manner. Now I am listing what are the important formulas you require for this topic once again. Now here I have mentioned what are the formulas relevant to arithmetic progression AP, and here I have mentioned what are the general form of the consecutive terms whenever 3 consecutive terms and 4 consecutive terms. Now let me list out the what are the formulas relevant to GP and HP also. Now I have mentioned what are the formulas that relevant to both GP and HP. HP are you need to more focus about whenever the 3 terms are in the HP, what is the condition? Nothing but what is the HM, harmonic mean, as well as relationship among the all the 3 means. That is harmonic mean is equal to square of the geometric mean by arithmetic mean. H is equal to G square by A. Let's move to the some more formulas which is relevant to this concept. Now here I mentioned the some more useful formulas which are relevant to the sum of the square, sum of the natural number, sum of the cubes, as well as sum of odd natural numbers and a sum of the even natural number. And one more relationship you need to be remember very carefully is sum of the first n cubes is always can be expressed as square of the sum of the first n natural number. So here I have mentioned with the symbol sigma, sigma n cube is equal to sigma n whole square. This is the important relationship. Let's move to our PYQ sessions and some more expected problems can be in this 2020. Our first problem is about, it is given in AEEE, and the problem is in GP consisting of positive terms, each term of the GP is equal to the sum of the next 2 terms of the GP, then what is the common ratio of GP? Now observe the problem. They said each and every term in the GP is the sum of the next 2 terms. Let's take it T1 is equal to, what are the next 2 terms for the T1? That is T2 plus T3. Sum of next 2 terms. Maybe if you take in T2, what are the next 2 terms for the second term? They are the third term and fourth term. So T3 plus T4. So condition is very clear. First, if you take in any term in the AP, will be expressed as in that particular GP only. Will be expressed as sum of the next 2 terms of GP. So I am talking with the only first 3 terms only, that is T1 equal to T2 plus T3. You people know very well about what is the T1 means. T1 is A, T2 means AR, T3 means AR square. I hope you can take out A is of R plus R square. Cancel it. R square plus R equal to 1. R square plus R minus 1 equal to 0. You can't factorize this one. Go for the formula method of doing that by quadratic formula, minus B plus R minus root R B square minus 4AC by 2A. Then R equal to minus 1 plus R minus root over 1 whole square minus 4 into 1 into minus 1 by 2 into 1. R equal to minus 1 plus R minus root over 1 plus 4 by 2. Clearly, R is equal to minus 1 plus R minus root 5 by 2. So So r is equal to root 5 minus 1 by 2 minus root 5 minus 1 by 2. But they said clearly about that GP is formed by the positive term. Ratio cannot be negative. So common ratio of that particular GP is root 5 minus 1 by 2. This is the first problem we have discussed. Let us move to the next problem. Now we are in the second problem. Find the sum of n terms of 2 into 3 plus 3 into 4 plus 4 into 5 and so on they given. If you want to find out the sum of the n term, we are having a formula. If n terms is maybe a natural number means you can find out by using n into n plus 1 by 2. But these are not consecutive natural number because 2 3 is 6, 3 4 is 12, 4 5 is 20. Maybe if they are in AP we can find out by using formula n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. But if you observe that sum is 6, here 12, here it is 8, nothing but 20. Is the common difference is there? No. Can we find out this one by the GP by using a into r power n minus 1 by r minus 1? No. Reason is it is not in GP also. So whenever these kind of series when they are giving, that means the combination of two APs, two GPs or one AP and a GP or one pattern, one kind of a pattern when they are giving, how to solve, that is our topic now. So first of all, observe the given one. What is the given one? 2 into, you have to treat the dot as into 2 into 3 plus 3 into 4 plus 4 into 5. Now take the first terms as one set of series and nothing but one set of term. Next term in the series is another set of term. So 2 comma 3 comma 4 are one set of term. 3 comma 4 comma 5 are another set of term. Clearly these are in AP. Find out the nth term of this AP. You know nth term of AP can be by using a plus n minus 1 into d. That is a means anyhow 2, common difference d is 3 minus 2 which is 1. So n minus 1 into 1. So 2 plus n minus 1 which is n plus 1. Coming to what is the nth term of this kind of AP? Now Tn is equal to again a plus n minus 1 into d. Now what I am going to do now? A means what will you do now? First term of this AP, that is 3 plus n minus 1 into common difference we got, it is 1. So 3 plus n minus 1. So you may get n plus 2. What we got? We got the nth term of the first set of numbers and the nth term of next set of numbers. So nth term of entire one is n plus 1 into n plus 2. But are they asking what is the nth term of that particular series or maybe sum of the n terms of that particular series? Yes, they are asking about sum of n terms of that series. So you need to find out sum of all these terms. S is equal to sigma Tn. Sigma of Tn, what is the nth term of this particular series is n plus 1 into n plus 2. So sigma n square plus n into, I am multiplying 1 plus 2, it's a 3n plus 2. We got the nth term. But our aim is not finding nth term. Our aim is finding n terms sum. So what I am going to do is, let me apply the sigma for the given. Sigma n square plus sigma 3n plus sigma 2. You should know here sigma n square means you know that n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. Already I have mentioned. Sigma 3n is nothing but you can mention it as sigma 3n means 3 into sigma n plus sigma 2 means you know that 2 into sigma of 1. So you have to write what is sigma n formula? N into n plus 1 by 2. In the same manner, sigma 1 is equal to n because n times 1 is added. Just substitute these terms in the given sigma. N into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6 plus into n plus 1 by 2 plus 2 into sigma 1 means 2n. We got the nth term in this way. That means sum of n term. Let us simplify this one. You will get sum of n terms. Now look at here. Let me take out a common for the possible one. That is n is possible. What is left over here? N plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6 cannot be taken. So 3 into n plus 1 by 2 can't be taken. Plus 2 is left over. Let's simplify this. Then it is 2n square plus 3n plus 1 by 6 plus 3n plus 3 by 2 plus 2 by 1. And into, simply I have multiplied here, n into 2n, 2n square, n into 1 is n plus 2n into 1 plus 2n plus 1 into 1. In that way I got 2n square plus 3n plus 1. Let me simplify by choosing that LCM is 6 plus 3 into 3n plus 3 plus 2 into entire 6. Now n into 2n square plus 3n plus 1 plus 9n plus 9 plus 12 all by 6. So n into 2n square plus 3n plus 9n will give you 2n square plus 12n plus 9 plus 1 10 10 plus 12 which is 22 by 6. By taking 2 is common, n into n square plus 6n plus 11 all by 3. But it is cannot be factorizable, so we can leave the answer in this way. Maybe instead of, sometimes they will ask, find the sum of not n terms. Sometimes they will ask 10 terms. So what will we do? We will do the same procedure. We substitute n as 10. 10 into 10 square plus 6 into 10 plus 11 whole by 3. 10 into 100 plus by 3. So 10 into 100 plus 60 it is 160. 160 plus 11 it's 171 by 3. You can write it 10 into 171 or maybe you can simplify one time 57 times. Answer is 570. So sum of the 10 terms of 2 into 3 plus 3 into 4 plus 4 into 5 is 570. In this way we can find out. If they ask n terms means n terms we will do, 10 terms means 10 terms we will do. But for this only you have to think about what is the nth term and the summative of n term and apply that sigma n square make. What is this formula? Sigma n means what is this formula? If it is maybe having any constant term, what is this form? Simplify it, get the answer. Let's move to the next problem. Now we are in the third problem. See this third problem, 3 by 1 square plus 5 by 1 square plus 2 square plus 7 by 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square until 20 terms which is equal to k by 21. What is the value of k? First of all, try to get the nth term and then you can find out the what is its general structure. Then what is the logic behind it, try to understand. First term is 3 by 1 square. What is 3 here? An odd number. What is the next term? 5 by 1 square plus 2 square. One thing is clear, denominator is sum of squares and numerator is about an odd number. You know about odd numbers general form is 2n plus 1. What is the even numbers general form is 2n. If it is started with it is 1. 2n minus 1 is the odd numbers general form. If it is started with 3, definitely it is with 2n plus 1. So, we got an idea about numerator, that is 2n plus 1. Still not understood means use the AP formula to get the numerator general form. And coming to the denominator, what are the denominators? Sum of the, what is that? N squares. What is the sum of n squares formula here? All I am trying to get the nth term. If you know nth term, you can. But in second problem, it is normally there. But here something by squares is there. It may not work out by taking the nth term and sum of it by using. It is only by the finding nth term only possible. Now, sum of n square, nothing but it is, you can write it is odd number by sigma n square. Odd number is 2n plus 1 by sum of the n square formula I told you already. So what is the nth term we got? 6 by n into n plus 1. Then what is the use? Do we need to write here 6 by n square plus n? N square means sigma n square. How can we write? For the denominator we can't write it. That is why just I am taking 6 into 1 by n into n plus 1. Let me express this one as the difference between these two is getting or not. Let us see. Yes, I am able to write here 1 by n minus 1 by n plus 1. N into n plus 1 can be written as 1 by n minus 1 by n plus 1. Reason is these two are consecutive numbers whose difference is 1. That is why I am able to write. Maybe like this is there. 2 into n plus 2. Yes, their difference is 2 and numerator is 2. So you are able to write 1 by n minus 1 by n plus 2. Maybe your difference is 3. N into n plus 1. No, you can't write in that manner. That means this is wrong. If you write as 1 by n minus 1 by n plus 1 is, it will be wrong. Difference should be equal to the numerator. So I got the logic. That is 1 by n minus 1 by n plus 1. Clearly 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 3. Simply I am expressing all these. Clearly I can write it as 6 into, what is the first term? 1 by 1 minus, what is the last term it is? 20th term. 20th means 1 by 20 plus 1. So 6 into 20 by 21, which is equal to k by 21. So k value is 120. In that way we can simplify this answer. Let us move to the next problem. Now they are asking you to find out the sum of the 9 terms, the first 9 terms of this. If you have observed this one, like a previous problem, you have to find out nth term, nothing but general term of this one. Numerator is sum of the cubes, so sigma n cube. Coming to the denominator is sum of their odd numbers, odd natural. You know that sum of the odd naturals. You know what is the sigma of the cubes formula is n square into n plus 1 whole square by 4. Sigma of odd numbers, odd natural numbers is n square. So n plus 1 whole square by 4 is the nth term. But you want the nth term or maybe the sum of the n terms, not n terms, 9 terms. For that also we need to find out n value. So sigma of n plus 1 whole square by 4. 1 by 4 into sigma of n square plus 2n plus 1. I hope you have remembered the method of the second problem. Sigma n square plus 2 into sigma n plus sigma 1. 1 by 4 into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 2 plus n. Let us simplify this. 1 by 4 into n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6 plus n plus 1 plus 1. Very simple. N by 4 into 2n square plus 3n plus 1 by 6 plus n plus 2 by 1. Try to simplify it. N by 4 into 2n square plus 3n plus 1 plus 6n plus 12 by 6. N by 4 into 2n square plus 9n plus 13, which is cannot be the factorized. You can write n into 2n square plus 9n plus 13 by 24. Now we are going to find out sum of the n terms, that is 9 into 2 into 9 square plus 9 into 9 plus 13 by 24. Here 9 into 2 into 9 square value is equal to 162 plus 81 plus 13 by 24. So 9 into, here by adding this you got that 256 by 24, it is coming in the 8 3 times and it is 32 times, 1 time and 3 times. Answer is 96. In some other way also we can guess that by observing the option 71 and one more option is 96 and another option is 142 and the last option is 192. It is divisible by the 24. Only option B and option D are divisible by 24. By guessing like that also we can do it. Okay. Let's move to the next problem. Now we are in the fifth problem of that. The sum of the series 2 square plus 2 into 4 square plus 3 into 6 square and so on up to 10 terms, what will be the sum? You know the procedure. Whenever you want to find out the sum of these kind of series, at first you should find out the nth term of this one. To guess the nth term, here can I write 1 into 2 square? Yes, 2 into 4 square, 3 into 6 square, nothing but 10th term is 10 into some term. So, n into, it is what? Even number, not even number, the square of consecutive even number. So, can I write even number general form is 2n and 2n square. So, tn is equal to 2 into power 2, nothing but 4n cube we got. You know that sigma 4n cube is equal to 4 into sigma n cube. You know that sigma n cube means what is the sum of the first n cubes of the natural number. So, what is the sigma n cube formula? N square into n plus 1 whole square by 4. 4 cancel. Then you may get that n square into n plus 1 whole square. Simplified. You need the 10 terms. So, 10 square into 10 plus 1 whole square. 10 square means 100 into 11 square is 120. So, 12,100 will be the final answer. This is given in 2013 online exam. We are in the sixth problem where S is equal to tan inverse 1 by n square plus n plus 1 plus tan inverse 1 by n square plus 3n plus 3 and so on plus tan inverse 1 by n square plus 39n plus 381. This is the given problem. They are asking you to find out a tan S value. In what way we can solve this one in an easier manner and by using some concept. The concept of sequence and series. Tan inverse 1 by n square plus n plus 1. Can I write it as n into n plus 1 into n into n plus 1 plus 1. Tan inverse 1 by, what I am trying to do is, I want to express it as either tan inverse x plus y by 1 plus xy or tan inverse x minus y by 1 plus xy. That is why I am writing everything in the form of plus here. So here minus will come. But in denominator no such minus. So it may not be useful. So this is useful to us. So I am trying to write each and every given term in terms of x minus y by 1 plus xy. So here in what way I can write n square plus 3n plus, I want 1 here. So can I write 3 as 2 plus 1? Yes, you can write. Plus, express the last one also in that way. In what way? N square plus 39n plus 380 plus 1. Now just observe S equal to tan inverse. If you observe that n and n plus 1 are differ by 1. So 1 by n into n plus 1 plus 1 plus, is it also differ by the 1? Can we write that entire n square plus 3n plus 2 in that way or not? Let us see that. Yes, we can write tan inverse 1 by n square plus 3n plus 2. So I am factorizing it as 2n plus n plus 2. Can I express 3n as 2n plus n plus 1? Plus and so on. Tan inverse, one thing is clear. I should express it as the consecutive integral. So 380 also in that way if I express n square plus 39n plus 19 into 20 plus 1. S is equal to tan inverse 1 by n into n plus 1 plus 1 plus tan inverse 1 by n plus 1 into n plus 2. Right. Plus 1. Clearly you can understand that last one as tan inverse 1 by n plus 19 into n plus 20 plus 1. Reason is 39 can be expressed as 19n plus 20, and after factorizing it I can express it as n plus 19 into n plus 20 plus 1. Isn't it? Now S is equal to tan inverse. I am expressing this one as difference between these two consecutive integral, that is n plus 1 minus n. Yes, I can write it as 1 as n plus 1 minus n by 1 plus n into n plus 1 plus. I hope you have understood the logic. Here also difference between these two factors is 1. So in what way I can express it? N plus 2 minus n plus 1 by 1 plus n plus 1 into n plus 2 plus and so on, plus tan inverse n plus 20 minus n plus 19 whole by 1 plus n plus 19 into n plus 20. Now S is equal to tan inverse. Clearly it is looking like x minus y by 1 plus xy. We all know that tan inverse x minus y by 1 plus xy can be written as tan inverse x minus tan inverse y. So it is x and y. So tan inverse x means n plus 1 minus tan inverse n. Plus here tan inverse n plus 2 minus tan inverse n plus 1. In the same manner, you can express it as tan inverse n plus 20 minus tan inverse n plus 19. Here tan inverse n plus 1 is get cancelled by tan inverse n plus 1. Like that all the terms will be get cancelled except the last term tan inverse n plus 20 and tan inverse n. So let us write this as tan inverse n plus 20 minus tan inverse n which is equal to s. I hope you know what is the formula of tan inverse x minus tan inverse y. What is the formula of tan inverse x minus tan inverse y is tan inverse x minus y by 1 plus xy. Then we can get the option very easily. Now s is equal to tan inverse n plus 20 minus n by 1 plus n plus 20 into n. Clearly, s is equal to tan inverse 20 by 1 plus n square plus 20n. Now you can transpose tan inverse to the other, then tan s is equal to 20 by n square plus 20n plus 1 will be the required answer. Now we are in the 7th challenging problem. This problem seems to be very simple. Usually, whenever we wanted to find out the sum of what we done, sigma of n plus 1 into some n plus 2 in our second example we discussed. At that time we discussed even what is the sum of first 10 terms of that particular series. At that time what we done? We done that it is n into, have we done in that way? N into n plus 2 plus 1 into n plus. That means after finding the nth term, we try to find out its a sigma value. That means nothing but we try to find out the sum of the n terms value. And later on, if it is first 10 terms, means what we done? We substituted n as 10 and we got the answer. But here, problem is very simple like a second one. And than the second one it is easier if you have observed. Why? Because we need not to find out nth term also. Just the sum of those terms is there. But here some change is there. It is not coming from, or they're not asking the value from the first term to the 30 term. Means it is not the sum of the first 30 term. Then what is it? It is the sum of terms from the 16th term to 30th term. That means this may help you to find out first n term, first 10 term, first 30 term. But this technique may not be useful to do here. Then what we supposed to do? Let us discuss. Now r plus 2 into r minus 3. R plus 2 into r minus 3 is r plus 2, r into r minus 3 plus 2 into r minus 3. So you can get r square minus 3r plus 2r minus 6. Clearly r square minus r minus 6, apply the sigma, then it is, you know that sigma r square value minus sigma r minus sigma 6. So clearly sigma n square value, anyhow you know that what is the n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. So r into r plus 1 into 2r plus 1 by 6 minus r into r plus 1 by 2 minus 6r. Then what makes the difference for this problem is you want all the sum of the terms from 16th term to 30th term. But there is no chance to find out in that way. So what I am going to do is, first of all I am going to simplify this one. You know very well in what way we will simplify. Take out r common. After taking r as common, you may get r plus 1 into 2r plus 1 by 6 minus r plus 1 by 2 minus 6. Let us do simplification. 2r square plus 3r plus 1 by 6 whole by finding LCM minus 3r minus 3 minus 36. Right. Plus 3r minus 3r get cancelled. R into 2r square minus 38 by 6. By simplifying that, you may get r cube minus 19 by 3r. Means r cube minus 19r by 3. But what you required, ma'am, you said that is everything is quite normal, but you said that it is a somewhat different problem. How this problem is different? Let us see. We want first n term, first 30 term, first 15 terms means we want. But what is you want? You want from 16th term to 30th term. Whenever we want to find out sum of that not started strictly from the beginning term, nothing but from the not from the first term, we will find out what you want until 30. So sum of first 30 term. But you want sum of first 30 term? No. We want from 16 to 30. So what we are going to do is, we will find out first sum of 30 term. In that 30 term, which you want, 16 to 30, which you don't want, 1 to 15. So I am subtracting the sum of 1 to 15. So use that sum of the r terms is given to you. Now what is that? 30 whole cube minus 19 into 30 by 3 minus 15 whole cube minus 19 into 15 by 30 cube is 27,000 minus 570 by 3 minus 3375 is the 15 cube minus 285 by 3. Simplify, you will get the required answer. Get the required answer 3375 minus 285 is you can get it as 3090 by 3. By doing simplification, 26,430 here 8,810 minus 3090 can be written as 1030. 8,810 minus 1030 is equal to 7780. We got the finalized answer. In this video, you have learned that what are the PYQs and the important concept and formulas that relevant to the various competitive examination that based on the inter-sequence and the series in the part 1. So in this part we try to bring the 6 to 7 problems to you, whichever are somewhat tough in the pattern of sequence and series. In the next video we are going to bring that some more challenging and tough problems for you. And for more educational videos, especially in MPC, please subscribe, share, like my channel, and you have to say your views and feedback in the form of a comment.